at. This is where we at. This is where we at. Why? The girls say love me, so we know, say we hot. Hotting up the chat. This is where we at. Step up in the club and champagne, we have pop. Serious, we serious, and a chat, we a chat. The girls say love me, cause we touch certain spot. This is where we at. The whole of Jamaica, yes, them know, say we at. The whole of America, yes, them know, say we at. Mims and Juna Reid, come and bless this a chat. Blackout movements, and one blood family ever had. Number one record on the billboard spot. And this is why we
I got my click to the rear of me. Punks living fear of me. Dudes on the block with them Glocks running scared of me. I keep my tool near to me, so don't just appear to me. Never touch my money, no, my money's dear to me. I'm in the club balling in the VIP booth. Shorty staring at me, call the kid so cute. This is why I'm hot, you know it is the truth. She want to get some...
Yes, sir.
It is what it is. Good Saturday.
Talking Black and Current podcast. Black and Current podcast. Real talk, bold truth. With your host, Big Lex and C-Note.
Y'all heard him.
What it do?
Hey, she wanted to say something too. Hold on a second.
Turn it up. Talking Black and Current podcast with your host, Big Lex and C-Note.
Ooh, I love she. I love she.
You love she. C-Note, what's poppin', man? What's happening?
Hey, man. Hey, look, I'm just ready to get this thing started, man. You know, you know, we got we got one of those ooh-wee day, but I mean, other than that, man, I'm good. What's going on your side?
Hey, man, slow motion. A wise man once told me I can't shake nothing and won't nothing fall. That's what he told me. He said, "Can't you?" I said, "Hey, what's going on? Oh, what's going on, old school?" He said, "I can't shake nothing and won't nothing fall." Okay.
What is that?
I'm gonna take that. I don't know what it means, but I'm gonna take that from you.
Hey, look, man. Hey, look, man. And let me tell you something. Them old schools had some sayings for you, didn't they?
What?
They had some sayings for you.
Watch this. Hey, chat. Especially if you're from the muck.
Here we go. Here we go.
If you're from the muck, they got something for you. Pahokee. Bell Glade.
4 day in the morning.
See, that's how they talk now.
4 day in the morning. And if nobody know what 4 day in the morning mean, that means before the sun come out in the morning. So that could be 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So
4 day.
4 day. 4 day.
Got it.
That's what that means. 4 day in the morning.
No, do they have a book, Wikipedia or a Webster dictionary to explain, decipher that type of terminology, those words? Do they have that?
I don't know, but you know what? I might need to make one.
You might need to make one.
I might need to be the first one to make one.
Right.
I'm serious. I need to we need to capitalize on this.
But like C-Note was saying, we got a good one, and we just gonna keep the vibe going. I just want to drop something real quick. We're gonna do this just to get the blood flowing. Get some blood flowing.
Let's get some adrenaline going.
We get the blood flowing real quick.
Okay.
All right. Start out with a little groove.
Hey, we got a good one for y'all today, man. Hey, we'll give him a little bit of. We'll give him
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
We would just want to get that blood pumping, get it flowing, get us off on the right foot. Because the day we're talking about uh, uh, mental health in the Black community, don't ignore the signs. And it's crazy. I'm gonna tell you something how this worked out. It's so crazy that our last episode last week,
Mm-hmm.
Cino ended it with, we want to talk about on a future episode about mental health, mental illness, mental wellness, and I be doggone. And
Yep.
y'all know what sparked this. Drop it in the chat right now if y'all know what sparked this. As soon as we spoke about it, as soon as I'm just looking in the chat, y'all. I'm sorry. As soon as we talked about it,
Yep.
something. As soon as we talked about it, something just tragic happened, and just doing some. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna let C Note give y'all some context on it, and that's how we're gonna start off, and then we're gonna dig right into it. Go ahead,
Okay.
C-Note. My fault.
Oh no! You fine, you fine. I wanted you to go ahead because see, a lot of times you lay that thing out real smooth. But like Big Legs was saying, on our last episode that we had, one of the things that I had noticed was the Black community in the mental health aspect, because a lot of times we have been ignoring it. We've been ignoring it. We've been ignoring that, we go through trauma. We've been ignoring the fact that, we have been having a lot of things going on, men and women. All right. Yeah. It doesn't discriminate. The mental health does not discriminate. So we're going to be having this conversation on this tragic thing that happened. And we chose this specifically because we it's more media and more um, how can I say, most of our research that we did, we found a lot that could give us that platform to have this conversation. Um, so the next week, me and Lex will talk, but next week we probably gonna continue this because this is something that has been plaguing our community for a long time now, and um,
One show,
right,
one show ain't gonna do it because it's so much. It's so much to unpack
yeah,
with just this alone in our Black community, mental health in our Black community. And oftentimes we ignore the signs. We don't want to be bothered. Oh man, that's Willie again calling me. He going through it. Oftentimes we know that somebody is going through something, or not. I don't want to say we don't know that they're going through it, but the signs are there.
mm-hmm,
That way, we don't know what they're going through. You never know what a person is going through. Um, and I'm sorry to cut you off though.
no, you good.
Because is you never know what a person is going through, because it goes back to one of the other episodes. Men are their expectations. We expect it not to cry. We expect it to man up. And then I can even go deeper. At when I'm going through something, I want to just pray about it. I need some right now solutions. I
Mm-hmm.
need right now solutions. And you just getting rid of me saying pray about it, I gotta go. It's often taken as you don't want to deal with me, you don't want to talk to me. Um because that's not the mental state that person is in right now. Um you know, and then I get it. I can flip that from a man standpoint, is our ego.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing wrong with me. But the first step, and they always are such a cliche, is the first step is admitting that you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I won't say a cliche, but that has been been the norm is the first step is you admit that you have a problem. And when you admit you have a problem, now what's the next step is finding a solution. But
Mm-hmm.
it, it, see, no, they 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 told, and I'm just going to use any. They told him to be strong.
Yep.
They told her to pray it away,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we're talking about men and women. They told us we don't have time to be broken. And so
Yep.
again, this is what a person that's dealing with mental illness, a person that's dealing with something uh, goes through or hears, just because you don't want to take time out to listen, uh, and that mental illness turns into suicide, and
Mm-hmm.
them harming themselves. And I know I don't want that on my conscience.
Yep.
Somebody that I could have helped, somebody that I could have just listened to, because that's all. Sometimes it's all they need is somebody to listen to them, and it's heavy. And a lot of folks go through that. A lot of men, a lot of women go through that. Uh, but what happens when the strength becomes silent? When
Mm-hmm.
survival turns into suffering? When the very people who carry the world on their backs can't carry themselves anymore?
And hey, Lex, the thing is though, you said something real key, the survival. I remember in one of our episodes, Martinez was on, and he said we have normalized dysfunction. So I'm gonna take it a step further in this episode and said and basically say we have turned survival into a brand.
Yeah.
We have turned survival into a brand. So everybody want to look like a boss. You want to look like a winner. You want to look unbothered. You want to look like you leveled up. You want to look busy, chosen, and you glowing. In the meantime, the debt is being hidden. The depression is being hidden. Loneliness is being hidden. Relationship dysfunction is hidden. People that's having panic attacks is hidden. Grief is hidden. And so people now feel like that the struggle equals to failure. So if you're struggling, then that equals to failure, and that pressure alone for men and women, especially men, because a lot of times we have to carry a lot. We carry a lot, and then we was talking about in the other episode about the expectations.
Yeah.
So the expectations alone that intertwines with this is another pressure that we have to bear as men. And I'm speaking as a black male because I mean it is real. But what we have to talk about now is because it's on both sides. It's on both sides, and I think that our community, the black community, has turned survival into a brand. You know what I'm saying? Is we're branding it, and everybody want to look like they're leveled up, but on the inside we're suffering, just like you was talking about. The suffering is hidden in there, and then till something happens, and then somebody snaps, and then now everybody's talking about what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But nobody's talking about what led to what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody's talking about that. Um, so that's it, and nobody's asking why it keeps happening. Nobody's asking that. So mental health in the black community, pain, pressure, pride, silence. That's something we're gonna talk about tonight on Black and Current.
Yeah. And yeah, just keep in mind, chat, this is not just conversation. This is a wake up call,
Hmm.
to those point. Because right now, I can guarantee you right now, uh, someone you love is struggling quietly. Today we refuse to ignore it. Um, and we're gonna talk about it because it's happening in our black community. Um, uh, and so just want to thank those that join in. Hey, welcome to Talking Black and Current, where conversations are real, raw, and rooted in truth. I'm your host, uh, Big Lex, got C Note,
See, no with you.
C Note right here, and we're diving into something that hits home for far too many of us. The mental health in the Black community. We're talking about our brothers. We're talking about our sisters. We're talking about ourselves, because mental health is not a weakness; it's a reality,
Mm-hmm.
and we continue to ignore it, and that's costing lives. So let's be honest. How many times we've heard, C Note, chat? How many times we've heard, "Man up, stop crying, just pray about it."
All the
Uh,
time.
we don't do therapy all the time. These phrases didn't just shape us; they silenced us. And while we've been in survival mode, or pushing through and showing up for everybody else, many of us have been breaking down behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many times that you have put yourself aside for somebody else, knowing that you got something going on and you're going through something, but you don't put yourself aside to do
I
your due
lost.
diligence to help somebody else.
I lost count.
And watch this though. I know you lost count, but let me finish. You don't put yourself aside, what you're going through, everything's happening in your world, and you don't put that aside to help somebody else who's ungrateful,
Mm.
and then had a nerve to look you in your face. I think I was standing right beside you and say, "You ain't do nothing for me."
Yeah, you was standing right beside me. Yeah, you was standing right beside me. Yeah, yeah, that is happened a lot, man. And thing about it is, and I know men and women go through the same thing. And I'm in chat, if if you're a woman and you experience things like this, and put it out there. But because I don't know who's out there who's gonna hear this and is gonna help you, but it's been plenty times that we, the people who's wired to elevate our community and to put back in our community, a lot of times we're wired like that, and a lot of times we get taken advantage of, because of, and I will say this, like, um our society in itself has become very, very selfish. Our society in itself has become very, very selfish in within our community. I see it every day. Um, and it's like nobody cares about the full picture anymore. Only thing a lot of people care about is what's in it for me.
Yeah.
That's it. What's in it for me? I don't care about I don't care about that guy. I don't care about that girl. I don't care about none of that. I'm I want to know what's in it for me and how does it benefit me. But my sister and my brother over there, they can do without for right now as long as I get what I want. And that's something that has to stop in our community as well. And I know we hitting on a lot of different facets of the foundation of where we're going. Um, but right now it's like with this tragic that happened, with Justin Fairfax. He's a former lieutenant governor, um, and he basically, um, him and his wife is going through a very tense divorce, and he did made this decision um, to go in the home. He shot his wife multiple times, and he then went upstairs and shot himself. Um, the kids was in the home. He didn't hurt the kids. However, um, it is a backstory to this, and as me and Lex did our research, we realized it was a backstory to this that really does link to mental health. And we do have a video But you know, the first thing that I want to basically mention is the fact that a lot of people knew that this was a mental health issue. They didn't say it. However, the president of the Catholic school of which um, um, Justin's Fairfax son attended, um, he basically, you know, he basically posted on Instagram. He posted on um, the threads. He posted on a lot of stuff, and he basically was just basically saying the good, what was good with um with Justin Fairfax, and how much of a pillar of the community that he was. And we're gonna run this video, and we're gonna show you some things about this situation, and we want to have a conversation. We want to have a conversation around this. We want to have a conversation about and be get your thoughts. So, all right. So, this is the thing, right? This is such a tough topic to talk about, and the reason why it's a topic to talk about, because everybody and their mama knows someone who we know ain't quite right. And we see them at the family reunions, we see them at the family gatherings, we see them um we see them everywhere, and we know that, yeah, they ain't, something's going on with them, but nobody says anything. Um and I know it's hard. The reality of it is hard. And I'm not finna sit here and act like um that is, that is an easy thing to, go to your family members. And sometimes family members are the hardest to even approach. What's up, Martinez? How you doing, man? Thanks for joining, sir. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. I just mentioned you not too long ago. One of our episodes we was doing, when you said we was normalizing dysfunction, and it kind of goes into the segue right now of mental health. Um, so yeah. So what I was saying was, like, it's a lot of times we see our own family members. We see that's not quite right at the family reunion, family gatherings, and bless you too, brother. Bless you too. And a lot of times we don't say anything. So how do we need to approach these issues? Is hard sometimes, and it would be it wouldn't be fair or real for me to say that, oh, so what you need to do is you need to just walk up to them and let them know they need help, or you need to tell the other family members, hey, let's have a some type of gathering to let this person know that they're on the wrong track. Because sometimes that's not the easy answer. That's not the right answer. So we want to have a conversation today. So what can we do? What can we do when we know one of our own is actually in a mental health crisis? And sometimes it's not just mental health. Sometimes it could just be trauma. Like, I know a lot of family members and stuff like that just basically, because they're going through some things, they're losing their mind, and it could be a marriage, and it could be financial woes. It could be, a relationship difficulty. It could be, having issues with their children, whether their children is either could be sick, or could be rebellious, and it's just things that's happening in the home that we that we're not really getting a hold of right now, right? So I mean, right now, I just want to basically talk to you, to all TBC family out there, I want to talk to you, and I want some interactions on how is mental health being assessed, and how is mental health being helped in the Black community. Because from what I see right now, and I'm just gonna be I'm gonna take a point of personal privilege. Um, every time we hear someone Black on the news did a murder or shot somebody or stabbed somebody, the first thing they do is they go back and they search out how reckless or how dysfunctional their past was. When someone white, however, does a murder or suicide, or just say like some of these mass shootings, the first thing happens is they start talking about their mental health. So we're committed here on Talking Black and Current, and I know a lot of other Black-owned media and stuff like that. We're committed to telling the story in its full volume. We're committed to having this conversation. Now, do I condone what Justin did? Hell no. Hell no. I don't condone what he did, and me personally, I thought that was very selfish. However, there's another side to that. There's another side. The other side to that is the mental health side to it. And in the video that we will be showing, this man literally asked for help in 2021. He was begging for help in 2021. Nobody helped him. So it's like, and it goes back to the other episodes that we done had as far as with Black men, and what we're leaving our youth, and all of these things. And I mentioned Martinez when he said that we have normalized dysfunction, and a lot of that dysfunction is the mental health that we're not really talking about.
Hey, C-Note.
What's up?
Boy, you know how to speak somebody up, don't you?
Hey,
When I say
listen.
you know how to, when I say you know how to speak somebody up,
They
you
did
about
say
to
I
speak
had to
somebody
go.
up. Somebody at the door.
Who at the door?
Somebody at the door, C-Note.
Who at the door? Oh shit!
I tell you, boy.
You gonna live a long
What's
time. You
happening,
hear me?
man? What's happening?
You gonna live a long time.
Hey, I'm what they call, I'm on this job.
What's going on with you, man?
Man,
Yo,
good, fellas. Good to see y'all, man. Good to hear y'all.
Hey, man, likewise, man. You know what we on, man. We on this here, this mental health in the Black community, and it's been
Mm-hmm.
ignored. So when something happened, last week we were talking about the show. We were talking about, bringing up mental health and this, that, and the other. And I'd be doggone if that very next week, or yeah, the following week, like this past week, we just came off of the 8 kids that got shot,
mm-hmm.
and 7 of them was his.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about it is, Martinez, this has happened in our Black community far too often. We talked about the men, how men carry the expectations that C-Note said, expectations, and that's what we carry when we walk out the threshold of our door. That's what we carry. We carry the weight of the living, being a Black man,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
what what we expected to do when we step out the door. So we expected to be the breadwinner, to be the provider. We
Right.
expected to protect our family. We expect we are expected to do a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have an outlet. What about those that? What about? Well, I'll take it back. We have an outlet, but because of our ego,
Mm-hmm.
and because we were told never to cry, because we never saw our men cry around us,
Mm-hmm.
we were told to handle it. That's that. Just growing up, that's what we, as black men, black young boys growing up, that's what we saw around us. To
Mm-hmm.
those black men that we looked up to, we saw them handle it,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the cost is. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this: what is our outlet? Because I asked that because many of us don't feel that we have an outlet or anyone that we can actually go to. So in the black community, and don't get me wrong, I was raised, and Lex and see, y'all can attest for yourselves, but I was raised, by strong men. My grandfather, my godfather. We had, those were the days where we had godfathers who were not who held you accountable, but they were also responsible for the added support of
Yeah.
the rearing and the raising you up to be a young man.
Yeah.
Versus today, the term godparent is almost null and void.
Yeah.
You know,
It doesn't mean the same nowadays.
and the uncle, right? It's not the same. And then you have the uncle who may or may not be present and who is very passive in today's time versus then. So that's one or two dysfunctions right there. The third dysfunction is we have this thing where in the black culture in the community we say, we just gonna pray it away.
Yeah.
We just gonna pray this thing away, and we gonna trust and believe God. And I am 100% supportive of that, and I believe that. But then there are some things that we got to do on our end too.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
We got to do some things right now. After you have prayed and you have cried and left it at the altar before God's feet, then there's some things that He said, work your faith.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's some work that need to be put in by us personally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or we could go a little further and say, well, faith without works is dead. So I can have faith that God is going to bring deliverance in a situation, but I still have to seek the proper help. You know what I'm saying? And in the matter that I know I'm having a dysfunction, if I'm showing signs of dysfunction and I see signs of dysfunction around me, seeking professional help, it shouldn't be, a bad thing. And I think that what we have said is that, we don't want to go and see a professional because, we don't want to be labeled, or we don't want nobody to label our children, but our children are struggling.
Right.
Now let me step on that, because okay, hear it all fine and dandy. When they say pray about it, go to God, leave it at the altar. Oftentimes, what folks do, and I know chat gonna hate me right now, but I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead, say it. Tell them about the gun line.
But they use God. You can't pimp God. You can't use him whenever now you get in trouble or you feeling something. The last time you spoke to him prior to that?
Mm-hmm.
When the last time you spoke to him prior to that? So oftentimes what happens is you don't go to church. You don't pray. You don't do none of that because you live in, what the song say, you live in a good life.
Mm-hmm.
Until when? Until something happened.
Yeah.
Now you're saying, oh Lord, we got to go call pastor. Let pastor pray over you. Now we got to do that. But then you go right back out, smoke a joint,
and do the
you get what I'm saying?
Do the same old thing again.
Right. We can't pimp.
That's right.
We can't keep pimping it, pimping God. We gotta, if we're gonna do it, we do it right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
If we're gonna
I
do it,
agree.
we're gonna do it right.
I-
You got to give up something to get something.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I
Absolutely.
mean, I'm just gonna call it what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm a go outside of that now and into what Martinez was saying about seeking professional help. The other part of that now that we have is the lack of African American doctors, of people of color, psychiatrists, in their practice. So we don't have a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of them. And why is that important? It's important because they are in the same skin and go through the same things, or hear the same things, or have faced similar things in their life, so they can relate to the energy of where you're coming from. um a lot of people have asked me a long time ago, like, okay, so do you think in a interracial couple, and I'm not against interracial couples, but I will say this fact right here: is no way that a white person can ever understand where where a black male or black sister is coming from and what they deal with on a daily basis. There's no way for them to understand that,
No.
because they never experience it. So it's the inner nuances of our day that they'll never understand. And it's like, um, sometimes people like to explain away, you know, oh well, maybe he was just playing, or maybe he was just, no, no. We already know what something means when it happens to us. We already can envision what that person meant. So I said all of that to say this: that's why we need the people of color being our therapists. That's why, because they can get to the root of what's going on. Because if I go, and don't get me wrong, I know it's probably some good white doctors out there and psychiatrists out there. It's probably some that's top of their line, top of their game. But they are not gonna understand when I tell them that I got laid off on my job because my boss didn't like me. And when I tell them they didn't like me, they didn't like me because of my skin color, and I was a threat,
Yeah.
to them,
Yeah. You want it.
because of what my intelligence hold.
You want it.
So so they're not gonna understand that.
No.
So mhm,
Yeah. 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 Hmm. And
mhm,
oftentimes that is the misdiagnose that me and
mhm,
were talking about. Now you get misdiagnosed, and I have the statistics on this, because you have, if and I'm just gonna call it what it is. If a white person and Martinez go to get diagnosed, same symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
Same identical symptoms.
Talk
Complete
to him.
carbon copy. Guess what? Martinez is going to get diagnosed with schizophrenia. And the other person is going to get diagnosed with mood disorder. Two complete different things. Two complete different diagnoses.
One needs medication.
Right. Right. It's statistically, it's proven. Statistically. Not only that, is now Martinez has not been criminalized. He's incarcerated. They didn't seek him the help, give him the help that he needed
Mm-hmm.
from a mental health standpoint. No, they're gonna put you in jail because they think animals need to be locked up.
And don't forget about the federal payday that they get when we go in there.
A federal payday. Hey man, hey listen y'all. Listen y'all.
Black and Current Podcast. Black and Current Podcast. Real talk, bold truth. With your host, Big Lex and C Note.
Hey man, we got Martinez on here from the Standard Initiative podcast, and we're talking about mental health illness in our Black community and the signs. So, question, Martinez, C Note, in the chat, when was the last time you checked on somebody? When the last time, watch this, I'm going to flip it on you. When the last time you checked on your own mental health? Do you feel safe expressing your emotions to people that are around you? And I got one more. Have you ignored a sign that something wasn't right because you didn't want to seem weak? Who do you call on, Martinez, when you're not okay? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
You do that again, it goes back to you have to work your faith. And I believe in working the faith, it does require having that outlet and speaking to someone that you can confide in and trust. You know, many of us don't have that individual that we trust with some of the most, you know, personal matters that we face because, we're afraid that if you tell certain individuals, they're going to go back and they're going to, spread, as they say, spread a rumor or, talk about it. You hear it in the streets. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have lacked, or the community has lacked, in getting help for our children, for young men, even ourselves, because we have adopted this hear my business in the streets mentality.
Yeah.
So, if I go through something, I should be able to come to you as my brother or my sister and say, hey, man, I'm dealing with this issue right here. I've been trying to deal with it the best way I can. and get some sound advice and get sound advice without being judged. That big phenomenon that we just had of earlier, in the year, towards the end of last year, where they say, we listen and we don't judge.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to not just say it, but we need to do it.
Yep.
Martinez,
If we have less people.
Fino said something about he
Mhm,
said something about that earlier. That
mhm,
we're not um uh we're about competing with one another now.
mhm,
So gone are those days of of coming to my brother that has that experience, that may have had that experience, that's
mhm,
knowledgeable, that he could share some knowledge with me, or share some guidance with me, and be that mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, everybody want clout. They want to say they did something, but they really never picked up the phone. Or they say, "Yeah, call me," and when you call, they don't answer. Hey, yeah, let's meet, and they no show. So we've learned through our years uh, to just deal with it.
mhm,
Learn through our, and that's through our letdowns, through our disappointments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality of just growing up in the society. Those days are gone. You said it. No more Godfather. That Godfather that looked after me, that took me to church. That said, "Hey, no," and you treated them just like they was your father, just like they was your dad, because you respected them, and you respected their knowledge, you respected their decision, you respected, them because they looked out for you in a certain way that one should. Um, hey, we got another person. Man, hey, the dope busy today. Busy.
Who at the door now,
The
man?
dope busy.
Who at the door now?
Busy. Hold on a minute.
Like my granddaddy say, who that?
Who door nine? Who had the door nine?
Who that?
Don, what's going on, man?
Can we? Can
You
he hear
got
you?
Mike? You got Mike? What's happening with you? Talk on the mic. You on the line. Nah, man. No, I don't hear nothing you saying.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Yeah, you may have to call us back. I don't hear nothing.
but
I don't,
Lex, just as what you just sharing,
yeah.
um, you know, is what we have to get back to as a society. I have continued to say this, for we've heard that over our lifetime. In our lifetime, we have,
Mhm.
these new millennials, or this generation afterwards. Of course, they don't understand the concept of the generation. Like my daughter, when you say it takes a village, she don't understand what do you mean by that. I have to show her and let her understand what that means. But for us millennials and baby boomers, we cannot neglect the village. That's what kept us in line. That's what kept us grounded, and it held us accountable to certain things that we may have lacked or were in need of. And so we have to maintain the village mentality. Is that you know my brother next door? Hey, he may have something that I need. He may have some advice that I need. He may have uh, some knowledge, some toolage that I can glean from. And that's not embarrassing. but that's taking accountability, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and being responsible for yourself, you know. And I was listening, before I came on, heard you guys say, we know people in our neighborhoods who have been mentally messed up. I can recall, uh, when I was in high school and a guy from the neighborhood, I was working at the Boys and Girls Club in Pompano, and a guy comes in the Boys and Girls Club and, and sees another kid and walks up to the kid and slaps him in front of everybody and then walks out as if nothing even occurred.
Right.
He was totally mentally disturbed. So, and the community and the neighborhood, they all knew it. But yet, within his home, no one did anything over the years to get him proper help.
So as a
Yeah.
consequence of
So,
growing up,
that's just
you
one.
thought that was okay
Yeah,
to do. That was tolerated. That was
right. That's the norm for him.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, that's normal for him, and we know that's not. But it's those things that when we know that there's something in our neighborhood, in our community, um, we should be able to be trusting enough that others around us can come to us for help, or we can go to others, trusting that we can provide the help, that each one of us need, especially mentally, because you know it, it
I don't know what's going on with you all right? I want something going on with your sound now. I think you're chopping up. But
Yeah, just a little bit.
yeah, you're chopping up a little bit. But hey Dom, you there? Okay, hold on a minute. Let's put you on. Let's put you on then. Let's put you on.
I thought you
Hey,
had my
hey,
mic muted.
hey, yeah, I muted it because I heard, I don't anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, we,
It's a little complications.
yeah, I heard a little something in the background. I'm like, nah, we can't throw you on. We can't throw you
Apology.
on. Let you handle your business and do
Nah,
that
listen,
thing. Hey, but we got Dom here. Hey, Dom, we talking about mental health in the black community and not ignoring the signs. The signs are there. And this all stemmed up from, the little situation that happened last week with those 8 kids. I think it was very important that we talk about that. Not only C-Note brought it up on the last episode about talking about mental healthness, and I'd be doggone if we didn't have another episode of
Mm-hmm.
mental healthness. And I'm pretty sure. Matter of fact, research says the police knew about his mental health.
Mm-hmm.
right.
The police said they knew about his mental health. Uh, um, and it was other cases that happened in February. 2 cases happened in April where the suspects on all these cases were known to the police and had a history of mental health system involvement and did nothing about it. I don't know if you was listening, but we also talked about how the misdiagnosed, black folks compared to white folks are getting misdiagnosed. A black person will get diagnosed as schizophrenia, and a white person will get diagnosed as mood disorder. Same symptoms, carbon copy, but one schizophrenia, one mood disorder. Go a little step further. 51% of black males who have experienced mental health illness got incarcerated. 22% of white got help. That's factual.
Right.
That's factual. I'm gonna pause there. Go ahead, give your thoughts on your take on it.
Well, thank you. First and foremost for having me. I'm greatly appreciative of being here. Um, I think the issue right now with some of the statistics that you pointed out is that there is mental health is difficult to deal with. Number one, both from a a systemic standpoint, as well as personal, and there's also the difficulties of understanding the differences, right?
Take your time, Rev. Come on, take your
Well,
time.
I have to take my time
Take your
because
time.
this is a sensitive topic, as you
Yeah,
pointed out.
yeah.
There is a large amount of black men incarcerated who have been diagnosed with mental illness. And for me, from a outside looking in standpoint, I look at it from a standpoint of this. Well, was there a jury trial? Was it a bench trial? You know, and I look at it from an unfairness standpoint to say, well, how can we have a jury, you know, deciding a verdict and they don't truly understand the nuances of mental health? Like you pointed out, a black man may be diagnosed with schizophrenia, whereas the counterpart may have a mood disorder.
Yeah.
Well,
Two complete different medications.
two complete diagnoses, characteristics, symptoms, both negative, because schizophrenia, and I've done some research of my own, schizophrenia has negative and positive symptoms.
Yeah.
And those positive symptoms aren't what you would say conventional, which are positive. You may have of lapses of someone being in touch with reality, but still be delusional. That's a positive characteristic. Where you may have a negative characteristic of let's say manic of a manic episodes. So then that's where it gets complicated. So you can say like, well, okay, well this jury can decide can familiarize themselves with a mood disorder. That's similar to bipolar. Sporadic mood changes of anger, depression, anxiety, happiness, sadness, etc.
Yeah.
But can they rationalize, can they truly understand a black male in a situation, diagnostically speaking, who is manic? That's a clinical situation. Well,
Well,
but
well,
then
to your point, though, I'm sorry to cut you off, but to your point, it ain't necessarily. It's not necessarily the jurors that are the experts. So to your point, yeah, jurors is the one that says, you found guilty based on the evidence that the specialists bring in
right,
and the statistics and, past behavior, bringing in a track record of certain behaviors from the professionals. But, but I paused there because I want to also highlight what C Note said earlier was if I'm having those symptoms, if I'm going to seek help as a black man, if I'm going to seek help, I'm going to a black therapist. I'm going to a black doctor, a black professional. The reason why I'm going to a black professional, going to a black professional because that black professional will know what I deal with on a day-to-day basis, just being of color.
right. And I think that with the reality of unemployment, specialized training, and job placements, etc., and then you're also talking about black men who majority of, at least from a statistic that I can remember, raised in a predominantly fatherless household, couple that with the black community being involved with therapeutic treatment,
Mm-hmm.
not to mention if there is a psychological issue, and it doesn't even have to be psychological. It can be more so of a societal judgment perspective of saying, hey, can I really share from a black man's perspective who may have been traumatized, as I think y'all heard y'all say earlier,
Yeah.
from a child, can he really share the, if he, mood disorder, schizophrenia episodes, even some of those more abstract, you can call it almost immoral perspectives with a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the harsh realities I've had to talk to the youth, and we've had these discussions where, and it's not so much of, well, I just don't feel like I can share. It's more so I don't feel comfortable, and that's
Yeah.
black men. That's the youth of black men and minority men of color. They don't feel comfortable, but then that's where we have to fill the gap of men taking on, like you said earlier, the godfather role of saying, listen, we understand. Can I help you? Can I walk you through this? But like you said, it's disappearing these days. There's influence, but not leadership. And that's a very, very big difference when it comes to mental health. Is these individuals need guidance, not just an influence. There's a difference between showing somebody, hey, I make $1 million versus saying, hey, this is how I got here. These are the troubling times that I've been through. These are the consistencies of where, or this is how I needed to stay consistent to still have a peaceful mind frame or a positive outlook, no matter the troubles. And I think that's where mental health comes in at, is the instability of, number one, diet, and then number two, how can you deal with the judgment? And I can point out a bunch of different things, but that's the part of the mental health conversation that's, from a therapeutic standpoint, that's difficult. You know what I mean? Because you have to identify what's troubling this individual more so than what's troubling the group. And I think that's what black men have to understand when they seek help, is to disregard the looks of judgment, the looks of, being looked down upon, and be willing to step forward and say, hey, listen, I have an issue going on. Whether it be a misdiagnosis or not, that's a different roadmap. But we have
Yeah.
to take the first step. But us as black men
But
also have to take
the first step is the difficult part.
it is.
As a whole, the first step is a difficult part as a whole, because again, growing up, you're taught to be strong. You're taught to don't cry. You're taught you as a black man growing up, you got all these expectations, and so as a consequence, when you're expected to do something, you take that on, right? You
Right.
take that on when you're expected to do something. And the truth of the matter is, that's why I said earlier, is you're looked at to be weak when you try to express your emotions, especially to a black man, to another man, or to someone that you're. I think you mentioned that earlier, as to someone that you don't feel comfortable with. But I say about going to a therapist in my choice of a black uh, therapist is because of, again, I need to go to somebody that looks like me. I need to go to someone, of course, doing my research to see what they've gone through, where they've grown up, that excuse me, that type of deal. Because don't get me wrong, I know that they're in terms of training and their schooling, they're taught to identify and classify certain things. So, which is why when I say go to someone that look like me as opposed to someone that don't look like me, I prefer someone that looks like me because now you know other challenges that I'm dealing with.
Right.
And so I say all of that to say, hold on, we got some folks in the chat here. Martinez had to leave. He said therapy is good, but we also need emotional literacy. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Therapy is good, but we got to first get there. We got to first get there because both Martinez and Dom said it. We got to first get there. So the first step is admitting it that we do have a problem. And if we push our egos to the side and we push being manly, masculinity, we push that aside and say, hey, we need to seek help first. We need to seek help or you're going to hurt somebody. We need to seek help or you're not going to be here. We need to seek help. And listening, that's the other piece, because we know that some of our folks that look like us don't like to listen. And it's only listening for the greater good, because if I identify and knowing the warning signs, then you should also. So let's talk about the signs, because recognizing them can save lives. The sudden withdrawal from friends and family, changes in sleep, too much or too little, mood swings, anger, deep sadness, loss of interest of things that once you loved talking about. Or once you love, loss of interest of things that you know for sure that that person loved and loved to do that. Talking about feeling hopeless. You start listening to folks that says that they're tired of life. Or being a burden. And sometimes it's not loud, sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's the friends who say I'm good just a little too quickly. When you know that they're not acting or their behavior, their body language is different.
I would like to touch on that briefly.
Come on, go ahead.
Well, and I think for me, strictly opinion, validated by some scientific research, medical opinions, etc. I think the first step for a black community to advance with the identifiers of where people are struggling at is nutrition. And that may sound like counterintuitive. Well, someone's dealing with mental illness, but how does nutrition have to do with all of this? And I think when we look at the dietary situation of people struggling with mental health from the black community, I think we can point out the recommended daily nutrition table of what they're eating, what they're experiencing, and I think that's the long-term effects of inadequate nutrition may alleviate a lot of the misconceptions of whether or not it's, like you pointed out, schizophrenia, bipolar, mood, mood
Mood
instability, etc.
disorder. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because, like you say, a feeling of hopelessness or a lack of concentration when, let's say, for example, you eat McDonald's every day and you're not eating a balanced diet. Well, that can be a cause. It doesn't have to say it's the cause, but it can be a cause of misjudgment, mood swings. Because you're not getting the daily vitamins and minerals, especially over the long term. Now, if you want to say children, et cetera, that's a different situation. But I think when you're dealing with someone, like you say, if they're 35 or 40, up beyond the age of 25,
Yeah.
and they've had 15, 20, 30 years of malnutrition, there are some psychological negative impacts they can have on malnutrition. The same thing goes for children. If they haven't been, from a black community standpoint, they're eating cereal every day, if any meal at all, mind you, or they're just high carb intake, straight only sugars, breads, a little bit of grain, some protein, but there's no vitamin D, B, C, etc. That has a real effect on mental health from a standpoint which we can identify, such as, like you said, feelings of hopelessness, depression, anger, inconsistency with mood changes, happiness, whether they feel sad. I think those are big things that in the black community we need to address quickly in order, especially for men, because we are considered leaders, but I think people can identify pretty quickly whether or not, and maybe this is the negative way to say this, whether or not this man is adequate enough to lead based off his prior decisions. And I think that's real to say. You know what I mean? And I think that's where we need to address the problem from a clinical standpoint, from a PCP standpoint, primary care physician, is whether or not this person is even properly nutritioned, and then whether or not they are preemptively diagnosing someone with a mental illness prematurely or not. Before we go that route, let's get to what are you eating every day?
But you know what? Martinez brought something up real, and then I got a point. Then I'm gonna give it the C note. What happened is, he said it doesn't start. Help really doesn't start with the therapist. It starts with unlearning what we've already been told or seen growing up. In terms of that suck it up, be a man up on it, handle it. That expectation when we step out the threshold of our door as a black man. The other piece is taking accountability. Just taking accountability and saying there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's a problem. Breaking the stigma. Breaking that stigma. We have to unlearn the idea that mental health is tobacco, if you will, for lack of a better term. It's tobacco. And knowing that therapy is not betrayal. Asking someone for help is not weakness. Taking care of your mind is just as important of taking care of your body.
Mm-hmm.
To your point with the nutritional standpoint.
Yeah.
So go ahead, C Note.
I mean, no, y'all spot on, man. I mean, it's a lot to unpack, and I appreciate you, Dominique, for coming on and actually giving that whole spread of knowledge and insight. Because this is the thing, and to your point, that Lex, what you was talking about is, I think that's why a lot of us in the black community was, we was trying to figure out that vegan thing, the pescatarian thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and all of this stuff was, it was a stab at trying to get better mentally and in our body, and all this kind of stuff. And the thing about it is, like, what we didn't address is, and what we can address with food is trauma. You know what I'm saying? We can address that part with food. And to Dominique's part, like, I've been an adolescence counselor. I was an adolescence counselor for about 5 years, and some of the travesties and stuff that I came across, with some of our youth, and what they had to deal with, and what they, you know, was facing, and what they was challenged with. Um, is it's one of those things where you have to give those coping skills, um, and when they're young like that, is like Dominique said, is very sensitive how you have to handle and touch these issues, um, because you can't get too far in front of them, and you have to kind of let the progress happen when it happens, because it's on them at that point. But I want to say that I truly believe that we've lost the to Martinez's point, we've lost the godfathers. We lost the people that kind of tie us in and ring us in whenever we go too far out, and notice that it is an issue, that it is a problem. you know some of that wisdom. I'm not gonna tell you a lie. Like, when I was coming up, I wasn't a bad person, but I was very mischievous, and I had the grandmamas and the granddaddies to ring me in and say, hey, and just like you were saying it earlier, it's like, those old sayings and stuff that they used to give you back in the day, and drop those nuggets. You really didn't quite get it, but you got it a little bit. But it wasn't until when you got older and you realize, wow, they really dropped some wisdom on me. But they was the ones that would ring us in and sit us down and be like, hey, you're not supposed to be doing that, and hey, this is why you're not supposed to be doing that. Now, some of us didn't get that. Some of us didn't get that. I was very fortunate and blessed to be able to have that, but now we have lost that completely. And um and the with the mixture of social media, we talked about black love, Lex,
Hmm.
2 episodes ago, and I think social media has done a number on our community like no other. Um, and the reason why is because, and I'm going back to my point, where we had this era where, everybody had to be a boss. Everybody had to be winning. Everybody had to be, so the pressure of to keep that look. And I'm gonna say it here in South Florida. Like, when I got to South Florida, that was one of the things that I noticed that was very potent.
Yeah.
People, the guys here, women too, they would rather have the look before the substance. So if I look like I got money, then I'm good.
Hmm.
But I'm not going to work on myself enough to do the work to get the money. I just want to look like it for right now. And I think just that pressure alone causes a lot of problems, because what happens is people go out and spend money they ain't got. You go out and get this Louis, this Gucci, and all that kind of stuff, and next thing you know, you're getting put out of your house, or you're losing your car, and all this other stuff, and it brings other pressures, real pressures, and into what we was talking about before. Like, we don't like talking about that stuff. We don't like talking about that stuff. Who we gonna tell? Who we gonna tell we got put out of our house?
Right.
Who we gonna tell? We lost our car. Who we gonna tell that? Because the pressure right now is we got to be winning, and if you're not winning, why even tell the story? um and I think that pressure alone by itself causes a domino effect of things that happen emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and it turns into a catastrophe, a tragedy if it's not dealt with. You know, so I mean that's my take on it. Is as far as when it comes to healing, and I noticed that um, you know, Everton says confronting life harsh truths, while and I know you put that up there, but confronting life's harsh truths while seeking support from a brother can be challenging, but it's essential to acknowledge those feelings. It may seem isolating when you hear it on the street, and that's true. But one thing we have to really, really get back to, and that goes back to our other episode, which ties into that, is how the bros really need to get that back, get it back where we're talking again, get it back where we're relying on each other again, get it back where you have that figure. Of course, you can't talk to everybody, but you need to find somebody who you can trust and who you can talk to, who can actually be that support system. We got to get that back, and I guess I just want to have that conversation on how we get that back. How do we get that back? How do
Well,
we
I can start off with, and you've touched on it in prior shows, is this right here. Is this right here. This podcast is how we bring that back. Getting the brothers on, and we're talking about the challenges. Bringing on a pastor that came on, Doc came on a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
and expressed and gave us. He dropped some knowledge on us. He's an educator, an influencer, and he dropped some knowledge on us. One last point from Dom before he go, and then we got another one coming on. Go ahead, Dom. One last point on this, and then I'm gonna bring us some statistics, some numbers, because we do numbers here too.
Mhm.
We do factual numbers. Go ahead.
Just one more point, man, because and like I said, I appreciate you having me on. I really thank you, Black.
Yeah, man.
Anytime you want me to come on, just let me know. But what I wanted to touch on was this, man, is that I know we're saying that we need to bring back the Godfather roles, right? And I've always questioned whether or not, and this is a personal question that I don't know if we can all identify individually, like, hey, we just meet someone random, whether it be, the youth, mid-age, or older, to say, like, hey, do you have anybody influential in your life that's trying to steer you in the right direction? You know what I mean? Because I've met a lot of individuals younger than me, 24, below 20, and they say, like, hey, we have these people in our lives, but we don't listen to them. And then when I ask, like, well, what's the disconnect here? Why aren't you listening? Well, because they're not showing where we want to go. Like, what we want to, like, as you would call it, they don't have the influence for them to say, okay, I need to make the change. They don't have the Dodge Challenger, with the chains on and like when I was growing up, it was like, the guys that tried to steer me right, not saying regardless whether they influenced me or not, perceptionally, they're riding in the Monte Carlos, the this, that, and the third. They had the Coogee on. They had the, you know, they was fly. You know what I mean? And then, but nowadays it's kind of like, and I think that's where the disconnect is where the youth is saying, well, can you influence me, and are you that person to influence me? It's kind of like a show and tell, like, okay, we're getting the wisdom from all of these different places, but where it really hits home at and where it's closest to home at, can we really listen to you? And I think that's where the youth is saying, like, okay, can we really trust you? Can we really accept your guidance to really take heed to the warnings, because we're struggling. We're really struggling. Like, some guys, they can't eat, they can't, they're struggling in school. The ones that care, the mom, dad or whoever, dad's not in their life or dad's there, but he's doing whatever. Mom's struggling work, dad's struggling work. Real life survival issues, to where they're saying, like, we can't take a step back to say, like, let's just focus on school and go to school. Like, we need to do more. And I think they want to do more, but that's where the avenue is kind of cut off, to say, like, we can't progress other than let's just learn, let's get all the knowledge we need. Let's get all the wisdom we need. But beyond that, that's going to take years. But right now is the current problem, and we want to fix the problem today, or we want to fix it tomorrow or next week. And the guidance that you guys are giving, not you guys, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
influences that they have closest to them, is saying, hey, listen, you're going to have to take your time, but it may take time, and you can't fix these problems. But for them, it's like, no, we need to do something now. You can't ask me to suffer and watch someone suffer today when I'm watching my peers, not me personally, but their peers, succeeding exponentially. They got all the money in their pocket. They got the nice clothes. They got the nice shoes. They got the nice cars. In the same age group, 2-3 years above or 1 or 2 years below, whether it be podcasting or trading or, just hustling or starting businesses, or selling water. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Boys down there in Atlanta, like, that's a hard, tough pill to swallow, to say, like, well, we just need to just give it some time, man. Like, they don't think that that time is the important part.
So
We need to
check this out, and that's I like that, because now we starting somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I say that by saying this. Years ago, I used to coach. I coached high school ball for years, and I coached high school ball in the hood. So we had those, Dom, to your point, that didn't have a father in their, like, single family home, that just had a single mother, or I even take it a step further. They didn't have mom and dad. They were staying with a cousin, and the male cousin was hustling, so he ended up in jail. The female was out running tricks. So all they knew is to hustle and to go out there and get what they need to get. Don't you? That takes a lot of toll on a 13, 14-year-old
Yeah.
that hasn't, and I say a lot of toll, a lot of pressure, that he or she have to experience life so quickly as an adult to survive. And so survival as a consequence is going out, busting licks. I mean, just the sad truth, going out busting licks. So now this 13, 14-year-old has now a criminal record that's going to follow them for life.
Yeah.
So it's some things. So what we started to do, and I say we because it just wasn't me alone, what we started to do, and Martinez listening, is we started that King's Den. We started that men, that iron sharpens iron. We started the youth program where you don't go right out to football. Guess what? We're going to do study hall first. And you would get those, hey, coach, I haven't eaten all day. So we will go grocery shopping, and in the coach's office, we'll have peanut butter and jelly, ham and cheese. We'll have those things because we know we have football players that this is their outlet. Basketball players, this is their outlet to come here to let that out, to want to make a better life for themselves. So to your point with they wanted to see something now, it was our way of from football, from sports, athletic, giving them that outlet and also giving them that guidance as well. Hey, sit down because football ain't gonna always be there. Basketball is not gonna always be there. You need to get your academics and get your academics through this. The women gonna come. And to again to your point now, they was all about wanting something now. All about wanting something now. Hey, you got to work for it. You got to work for this. You want to make it, and I wish I can bring up those videos of us talking to these kids, cussing these kids out, letting them know, you want to make a difference in your family life? This is where it starts. You want to make an impact in your family? This is where it starts. You don't have, and I heard one coach say, basically, nigga, I'm your dad. And that's how he told him, I'm your dad. When you come here, I'm your dad. And I'm going to make sure he got on his case. He made sure he was fed. He made sure he had clothes.
Mm-hmm.
He made sure all of that. And guess what? That person that was running in the street, hustling, trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, busting licks, that same coach went to court for him.
Yeah.
That same coach told the judge, I got him, Your Honor. I'm going to make sure he all right. I got him. And so you have to connect. There are certain ways. The old way doesn't work anymore, Dom. That old way of the Godfather, of that old school, that doesn't work anymore. That worked with us. I'm going to say, I'm sorry. That worked with me and C-Note. No cap. No cap, Dom. No cap at all. That worked. That worked with us. That worked with me, C-Note, and Martinez, because those are the cats that impacted our lives.
Mm-hmm.
So as we took that on, and I can only speak for myself. I took that on, and I said, you know what? This is how I give back. Excuse me. This is how I give back to the youth. Is now being that mentor, steering them in the right direction, making an impact, making a difference, leading by example. Hey, listen, I'm not in the prison system. I don't have to rob anybody. I can show you how to hustle, but I show you how to hustle the right way. Make sure you get your education. Hey, let's spend some time in here. Okay, you ain't getting that? Now we'll spend a little extra time after practice. So we got study hall before practice. We go to practice. We'll stay after. I'll take you home. Don't worry about it. And so those days are gone. You don't have those coaches anymore. But let me take it back. You don't have the Godfathers anymore, Dom. So to your point with the disconnect or where the ball dropped through the years, it's a new generation. And C-Note and I have been talking about this new generation, I want to say for a couple of years now. And there's certain ways to connect. And then there's certain ways that they're going to cut you clean off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to cut you clean off. And so in order for us to reestablish, and it's going to be hard to reestablish that connection. What's the new generation now, C-Note? Is it Gen? No.
We got the alphas now.
Yeah, alpha.
We got the alphas. I mean the Z's right now in the workforce. But we got alphas that's coming in right now. And man, I tell you, and to that point, Miss T made a comment of what happened to the boys and girls club, YMCA, 5,000 role models. So to Ms. T, One of the things I think revolutionized the brick and pushed a lot of the youth away from the brick and mortar was social media.
Yeah.
When you got TikTok and you got you got the threads now. You got so many other Snapchat. When Snapchat and all of this stuff, social media, the addiction of social media, it was with that phenomenon coming in, the brick and mortar places, the more traditional. I'm just gonna be honest. I am a proud person who went to the boys club. Me and my nephew, we grew up like brothers. I went to the boys club, and um, going back and revisiting it, I don't think, and sometimes I think even with a lot of our other programs who that are, very good programs, but I don't believe that they adapted to the change. They didn't adapt to it, and they
Nah.
became less appealing.
Hey,
Um,
let me pause right there. Hey, Dom, man, listen, I appreciate you joining us, man. I
yeah,
appreciate you, brother.
appreciate you.
Don't be no stranger. I'm gonna hit you up. Don't be no stranger, brother. I
I
appreciate you,
won't.
man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on. You know I won't be a stranger.
All right, take it easy.
Hey, you too, man. Thanks, C Note.
No, thank you, Dominic. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And like I was saying, and once again, we're gonna thank Dom for coming on and giving that insight. We appreciate you. And that's what we need. We need that. We need that collective knowledge and wisdom
Yeah,
and insight. And that's what we committed to.
that's
But what I
exactly
was saying,
me committed to and then we also want to thank Martinez. Martinez came
absolutely.
on, gave his opinion, and listen, don't forget to check out Martinez for the Standard Initiative podcast on every Wednesday evening, 6:30. Uh, be there, be square. He on all social media platforms as well. And then see note, I got to give one more announcement. And then Talking Black podcast is gonna shift gears. We're gonna shift gears from Saturday evening. Saturday evening. Do I get a drum roll or something?
You go ahead, get that. Go
No.
get that. Get that.
Saturday evening to Tuesday evening. To Tuesday evening, 6:30. All right. We're gonna shift gears from Saturday evening, every Saturday tonight, every Tuesday evening, 6:30. Be here, be square. We're gonna Talking Black
Mm-hmm.
podcast. Uh well, real truths, y'all. Y'all
Talking
know how it go.
Black and Current Podcast. Black and Current Podcast. Real talk, bold truth. With your host, Big Lex and C Note.
That's him. Go ahead, C Note.
Yeah, cause Tuesday we're moving to Tuesday, cause see the raccoon I got that's doing all my electric and internet Randy. You know what I'm saying? He changed his shift.
Oh, Randy.
Randy changed his shift. He changed his shift, so I can't.
Is Randy is Randy related to the goat Remy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Y'all
yeah.
know
So
Remy the wolf.
he off on weekends now.
Okay. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. And then we're gonna hit some statistics.
All
Go ahead.
right.
You can finish.
No, but I was actually going back to the point for from Miss T when she was talking about where's the role models, YMCA, Boys Club, things of that nature. I also think it's a cultural thing. Like I said, TikTok, MySpace, not MySpace, but TikTok
Ooh,
and
boy,
hey,
you
yeah,
know your age
yeah,
just
yeah,
now.
yeah. I just
Did he just
don't.
say MySpace?
Hey, you better not say nothing. You better not tell nobody but God.
Miss T, you heard him? He said MySpace. Got to be more careful.
So TikTok. Snapchat, Threads,
Yeah.
all of
Ooh,
those things
my
um had that whole phenomenon, the internet phenomenon and stuff like that, pushed a lot of the youth away from the brick and mortar. um they no longer in those, and they replaced those role models with influencers.
yeah.
So when you have influencers, then you have your role models at the brick and mortar. The influencers can get them when they're at school, when they're at lunch, when they're looking at their phone, when they're at recess, when they're at basketball practice, cheerleading practice. These influencers can get to them wherever they're at. And where the youth had to wait to go to the boys and girls club or go to the YMCA to meet their mentor, but now the influencers can get them anywhere they're at. So
All they need is that device.
all they need is just the cell phone. So I think that has played a big part in the brick and mortar. The other point I want to make about the brick and mortar is the simple fact that I don't think a lot of the programs was getting funded enough to be progressive enough to keep them in. Point. You talk about public school, Lex. Um, a lot of times, how long? I mean, even back when we was in public schools, how long did it take them to catch up to the times? You know what I'm saying? Like, how long did it take the schools to get funded enough to, you know, keep things fresh? And because the thing about it is, the same computer my brother used, 3 years before me or 4 years before me, I used the same computer. It was the same thing. And he could probably tell me, "Oh yeah, you used the one with the missing M." So it was, and it was stuff like that. Um, so I do believe that the brick and mortar got disconnected when the internet or the social media came in, and kind of the influencers came in place. I put it like that. The influencers came in place and replaced our role models from the brick and mortar. I can't even get it out. Um, but anyway, that's what I think that was. Um, so
But
uh,
they still, and the thing about it is, they have replaced it. You still have some traditional folks that go to um, the Boys and Girls Club and the YC, the Y and all that. Um, but it's not the same. Truth of the matter is, they're not the same anymore.
no, no,
Society has done that.
yeah,
And then to your point, uh, the influences have changed that. Uh, and that's why I was talking about the stigma, breaking that stigma. Um, because it's not definitely not too late. We can still reach this generation. It's all about that connect and knowing how to reach them.
mm-hmm,
Um, and again, Casino and I was talking about this. Uh, maybe about 2 years ago, something like that. We were talking about this new generation that's coming out, this entitled generation, these young guys. And again, I got nothing against them. I got a son, same generation, got a son, and I don't not knocking them at all. Uh, it's just a way. There's different ways to connect with them. You have to connect.
mm-hmm,
Once you establish that connection, be able to get through 'em. You have to connect with them. So
absolutely.
that means doing some research and connecting with them, because there are ways of connecting, finding out likes and dislikes, finding out those things, because it's not a carbon copy. Each individual have their own likes and dislikes. But the majority are on the game system, on the computer, on social media. You know what I'm saying? And you have to find that that again, that connection.
Hey Lex, let me say this too, when because you just said something that kind of is struck in my head,
Yeah.
and that's to back to the brick and mortar. So one of the things that we used to have people who really cared in those brick and mortar
Mm-hmm.
buildings, right? Now we in a, to your point, society, in the society realm that we stay in right now, most people just want to go and get a check and go home.
That's it.
So you had some people that actually went, and some of them even volunteered. They even volunteered into the boys club, YMCA, and then all that kind of stuff, right? So they volunteered, and they literally cared and believed in the mission of that establishment, of that brick and mortar, to basically mentor these young ladies and these young men. But now we have, as far as society has brought up a lot of people and created a lot of selfish minded people, and that's a whole nother topic in itself. But um, they don't even care no more. We got and nothing to all of my good teachers out there. All my good teachers, hats off to you. We love you. But we also have people that's going into teaching, into nursing, and they don't really have a passion for it. They just want to check.
That's it.
And I think we have lost that because a lot of people not really going into something, into these roles, whether it's be role modeling in the Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, and that's why I think Martinez for what he's doing, because I know he's passionate in what he's doing with the standard, and everything like that. So it's it's things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and because I know we got to get to these statistics, because you know me, I mean, you got me
No,
started.
it's no, it's good because I mean, if chat, man, y'all tap in because this is crucial. This is serious. I I think, for lack of a better term, we had a state of emergency
We
for
are.
our Black community, in mental as it relates to mental health.
Hmm.
Um, when I hear about the tragic incident about these kids and see, no, did you ever get that picture?
Yes, I did. I couldn't for some reason.
Yeah,
I was
and
trying to.
shoot it, and then we're gonna put this picture up, and it is no, uh, I think just for the sake of uh, my condolences goes out to the family, um, and prayers and thoughts to their losses, because these are 8 kids that didn't have a chance. Um, I mean it's hurtful just to think about it. Um, and that goes back, man. That just go we're just talking about mental illness and the suicidal rate and all that kind of jazz. It's crazy. Mental illness rates at 21% of 21% Black American adults reported have a mental illness in the past year. Uh, Serious illness, SMI, if you will, 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems such as major depressive disorder, anxiety disorder. Then you have that's uh, more than the general population, and then you have the youth trauma. 65% of African American youth report traumatic experiences compared to 30% of their peers from any other ethnic group. Uh, Suicide rates. Let's talk as it relates to suicide rates. While overall U.S. Suicide rates decreased in recent years, it has increased among Black people. And that's why I said about we're in a state of emergency for our Black community. Child suicide rates, Black children ages 5 to 12, this is nearly now 2 times likely to die by suicide as white children as their same age. That's an intentional pause to just think about that. Think about what I said. The 21% mental illness, 21% of Black American adults reported to have mental illness. The mental health addressing the systematic racism, trauma, and access to care is essential to improving mental health outcomes in the Black community. It's this is insane. The statistic, and I'm going to share for our viewers. I'll share these statistics so you have a visual. A visual.
A visual.
It's serious. I got you right here. We on deck. We on deck. And the other piece is I think C note, not C note, but I think Martinez. We were talking about this. The disparities is real. We were talking about no, we were talking about we were talking about the incarceration. Sorry, my mind went blank.
That's all right. I knew you was gonna get it.
Yeah,
That's why I left you alone.
I had shoot. Nah. All right now. Don't start nothing.
I knew you was gonna get it. That's why I just left you alone.
But the Black mental health, it's real. Systematic bias, unequal access, different outcomes, channel into legal systems. Black individuals are more likely to be channeled into the legal system rather than healthcare systems for mental health crisis. Was talking about that. Black men are 3 times more likely to be arrested and taken taken to a mental health facility during a crisis. So 3 times more likely to be arrested than taken to a mental facility during a crisis. Let's talk about the misdiagnosis. Talking about the misdiagnosis. Black patients are significantly more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia than less likely to be diagnosed with mood disorder when presenting with identical symptoms as the opposite color. Black patients are 55% more likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia, and 28% of the opposite color are likely to be diagnosed with schizophrenia. Now, the diagnosed with mood disorder, 2 complete different diagnoses. Mood disorder, 20% of Black patients will be diagnosed with mood disorder, and 40% of the opposite color will be diagnosed with mood disorder. Black people with mental health conditions are criminalized and incarcerated at a higher rate than any other ethnic group. I show y'all these statistics. Um, Black Americans are more likely to seek mental health care from the emergency room. They go to the emergency room than from a specialized mental health professional. Where Black Americans seek mental health care, 50%, 50% goes to the emergency room, and 23%, this is Black Americans, 23% uh, seek a mental health specialist. Share that with you guys. Share that on the screen.
And those are the stats.
This isn't just a statistic. This is the system.
Mm-hmm.
So equally in mental health care can save lives and transform communities. Listen, learn, advocate, and act. Black mental health matters. C Note brought this up, and I think this was very important. Like I said, this is a state of emergency that we're in because of our Black community. We're losing folks, and it's what you got going on over there? See, no, you all right over there? Something wrong with your picture?
Some listen, I don't know, for some reason I had pulled the cord and something was going on over here, so I'm good now.
New show?
I'm old Tay.
He's okay.
I'm sorry.
Butt week. He pulled a butt week out of
Yeah, I'm old Tay.
My man said, "I'm okay."
Oh man,
Hey, so you know that picture is so small.
was it?
Yeah, the picture's small. We was actually wanting to pull up the uh the these these kids that was taken from us so soon, and like I said, my heart goes out to the family uh, that 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 lost that lost these 8 beautiful kids, and it's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. I'm sitting here just thinking of what ifs. Um, so we haven't the 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 racial profiling that's still a thing.
Yep.
Um, even in the health care world.
Yep.
So depending upon how you look is going to determine whether or not I'm gonna help you.
Yep.
Depending upon if you have insurance or not will determine whether or not I'm gonna help you.
Mm-hmm. And it determines what type of help I'm gonna give you.
Yeah. I'm just gonna send you on way. Hey, okay, you got this. Send you on your way.
Yeah. And give
Because
you some cream, put it on your back,
Yeah.
and call me in the morning.
because it was said that they were in the system. It was saying that these suspects were in the system, was known by the known by the police, and had a history of mental health system involvement. a I'm just gonna call it out, and then C-Note's gonna call out the name of the kids. A Louisiana man was accused of killing 8 children, including 7 of his own, in April 2026, marking a significant tragedy involving a family of violence. And y'all go look it up, and y'all will see these kids, 8 of them. For some reason, I can't share. I can't share.
Yeah, pull it up.
Oh, wait a minute. What's that? I got something right here. But it just pulled up right there on my screen. I got something right here that I can work with. Let me see if I can throw it on this picture. Does that work? Y'all excuse me here. I need y'all to see this. I need y'all to really see this. Oh, man.
So, I guess in the meantime, while you doing it, it's okay for me to read off these names.
Sure.
So while Les is trying to pull that up, so just so you know, the age group of these kids, and I want to, and we both want to honor them by saying their names. And the first one was let's see, Jalia Elkins, 3 years old. Shayla Elkins, 5 years old. Braylon Snow, 5 years old. Kayla Pug, 6 years old. And Kadarian Snow, 6 years old. Layla Pug, 7 years old. Markadon Pug, 10 years old. And Sarah Snow, 11 years old. And like Lex said earlier, this our heart goes out to them, and to the families that had to endure the loss of these dear children, and all we do is just, and that's why we're having this conversation. That's one of the reasons why this conversation is important. It's important for us to have this conversation because, like Lex said earlier, we are in a state of emergency. We are in a state of emergency right now, and we have had a couple. These are bombs that are going off in our community. These are bombs that are going off. They're sounding off really, really loud, and we cannot and we should not ignore that we have a breakdown in our community that has been brewing for forever, you know. So I see you working it over there. These are the faces.
Man.
These are the faces of the names that I called out to all the 8 in Shreveport. And like I said, this is why we are having this conversation. This is definitely why we are, having this conversation on mental health in our community. is very important. Um, I feel like that, you know, th- having conversations like this, and I know me and Lex, we talk all the time on stuff that that we need to be talking about, and the things that we want to do, and how we want to pull the community in and have these conversations, while at the same time bringing in people like Dom, bringing in people like Martinez, and joining with the conversation, and even out there in the chat, you know, um, bring you into the conversation so that we can have some form of plan or resolution to what we're doing. If not even a plan, at least educate ourselves on what's going on, and what we probably need to look into inside ourselves. And when Lex was throwing out those questions, like, when the last time you checked on you?
Yeah,
When the last
that's
time you checked
important.
on you? When the last time you checked on your mental health, how you was doing, and what plan did you make to do something about it? And I think that's real important. Used to be old saying, nobody know how to take care of you but you.
But you, it's still
So
there. It's still there.
so, and I think that we will continue with this conversation, because listen, uh, we just had the conversation, Legs, and we haven't even got to we ain't even got to none of the material
No, yeah,
that
we ain't get
that we prepared for this show. We didn't even get to none of it, because the conversation was so good, and it was rolling, and I do understand how, Lex just kind of let that roll, and I agree with it. Like, when you having that conversation, there's no breaking that.
yeah.
So, yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say this uh, before we go. This not just men. This is women as well. So don't ever get it twisted. We're talking about black community as a whole.
Hmm.
That's black. That's male and female. So to every black man who was told to hide his pain, to every black woman carrying more than anyone sees, to everyone listening who feels like they're barely holding it together, uh, you're not alone. You're not weak, and your mental health matters.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna pause right there. C note, you got anything?
Um, what I actually want to talk about is basically how our pain sometimes show up in designer clothes, and sometimes, especially for men, our pain shows up with the appetite for wealth, um, stoicism, and basically what that is I mean, we start focusing on just what our problems is, and not worried about what we can't change. It shows up in sexual access for us, dominance, emotional detachment. For women, it shows up. The pain is these are the designer clothes for pain.
Yeah.
Um, for women, it shows up as resilience, beauty, the pressure of being beautiful, peace. You want your peace while you're overwhelmed, financial control, um, having it all together. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, what usually happens is all of this pain shows up a lot differently, and then people get in these relationships, and they try to love each other with the pain showing up in designer clothes, and we're not. We dressed it up. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, and I had a very wise person tell me, that I need to take care of my mental as well. So emotional literacy, like Martinez was saying, that's what healing looks like. What healing looks like, emotional literacy, um, where we normalize therapy. We need to normalize that. We need to normalize for the black men. We need to normalize being able to go get our mental checked out and to assess our mental. Um, and we also need to understand that we have a worth beyond our paycheck. We have to get to the point where we have to realize that we have a worth beyond our paycheck, beyond the money that we make. Last but not least, for the men, um, we have to learn how to ask for help. And I think that's probably the hardest for us. Um, for the for the women, um, learn how to rest without guilt. Get some rest without guilt. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I know a lot of times the hustle and bustle get to us, and we want to be out there and doing our thing and being current in what we're doing. But and I had to take some of my own advice, because I can go myself. But rest without guilt. Um, Receiving support safely. That's another thing for women. Um, Vulnerability without punishment, and not carry everything alone. And I know in this, I've heard this a couple times, even in what I do. You hear the women talk, and a lot of times they say, well, men don't know how to lead. And that's a whole nother thing to unpack. But
It's coming.
I
That
just
one's coming for sure.
and I just want to let the ladies know out there that it's a reason for that, and some of that is packed into what we just talked about today as far as the mental health. Um, but in the pressures of social media, the pressures of being a boss, the pressures of being a winner, the pressure, all of that has a lot to do with that. So um, I'm gonna leave you with this, and I'm gonna hand it back to Les. Black men are taught to hide pain behind money.
Mhm.
Black women are taught to hide pain behind strength. And then we wonder why everybody's tired. And I'm gonna give it over to you, Les.
Wow. Um. Wow. Yeah. Before this episode ends, uh, tonight, I want to do three things. I want you to do three things. Number one, check on someone, and I mean it. Check on someone. Number two, be honest about how you're feeling. Um, be truly honest about how you're feeling. That's that. When the last time you checked on you. Stop ignoring the signs, whether they're in you or someone you love. Stop ignoring the signs. Those three things. Um, this has been Talking Black and Current. If this conversation touched you, share it. Start a dialogue. Save a life, because healing starts when we stop staying silent. Uh, Conversation, just checking on somebody, that's free. You don't got to pay for that. As crazy as that sounds, you don't got to pay for checking on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Before we go, I need you to hear this again. In the United States, Black adults are 20% more likely to experience serious mental health problems like major depression, anxiety. Yet far less likely to receive the treatment. Black men, they are nearly 4 times more likely to die by suicide than a black woman. And far more of our young people, the numbers are even more alarming. Suicide has become one of the leading causes of death among black youth, with rates rising faster than any other racial group in recent years. These aren't just numbers. That's someone's son, that's someone's sister, someone who laughed, showed up, and said, "I'm good," when they weren't. We've seen the headlines, the stories of people who seemed fine, communities shocked, families asking, "What did I miss?" But the truth is, mental health struggles doesn't always look like breakdowns. Sometimes they look like silence, like isolation,
Mm-hmm.
like strength, born too long. Hey man, this is Talking Black and Current. Y'all stay black. Y'all stay aware. Stay current. We'll catch y'all on the next episode.
Peace.
What you know about rolling down in the down in the